I'm going to spend time with this gentleman, man, I simply call him a man to respect. Let me give you a little bit of history. I think it was about a month ago or so, I attended a seminar. I was speaking at a seminar in Cape Coast, and he was one of the speakers, you know. And you know me, I think at this age, I know I've had everything. Man, this guy came on the platform, and he was speaking to the youth. And I was sitting down listening, and I was amazed how much I learned. That's when it dawned on me that even at 62, we are still learning. Man, shows a lot. So this guy's good. This guy's outstanding. And then I checked out. I found out that he's actually the group CEO of the Databank group. Put your hands together. Let's welcome him. Show some love for Mr. Kojo Addae-Mensah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kate.
Oh, Charlie, so I didn't say anything there about Charlie. I told Albert after your presentation. Yes. I said, "Wow, because my baby be real."
Medasi pa medasi.
No. Yeah.
Baby, I learned a lot.
But it's fantastic, man. Yeah. The advice you gave to the youth, which I think all Ghanaians must hear. We can't give it now. But it's amazing. What's this fascination you have for the youth?
You know, this country has more youth than any group of persons, and if this country will transform, that is where we will transform it from. It is not babies and it's not the octogenarians. It has to be the youth. No country has developed with octogenarians. It's always been the youth. Even in Ghana, those who won independence for us were all less than 50 years old. All of them were less than 50 years old. The question I keep asking them today is, if we were supposed to win independence for Ghana today, would we have been able to do it? Check out America, check out the UK, Singapore. When Lee Kuan Yew took over, he was a young man. And so if the youth can't take this country by the horns and develop it, then where are we going?
The very interesting thing that you've just said too that I've noticed, because every time we talk about transforming the country, we're like, let's start with the kids, you know, we have to go all the way back and start with the kids. You seem to have elevated a bit that the youth is where the start should be.
It starts from SHS. That is where we are formed. And that's where sometimes I have a bit of a problem with our educational system, because those of us who went to the old system, you know, you develop from Form 1 at age 11 or 12 to sixth form when you're at about 17, 18. That is where you develop your core values, your morals. That is where the development is, and that is where the focus should be. And maybe the universities, now they are much younger when they go into university. So we can focus both at SHS and at the university. Back in the day, by the time you're entering university, you're already 21, 22. So, you know, your morals have really been formed. But it is the SHS level. That is where we need to drum the message, so that by the time they are coming out, they know what it is they are coming to do for Ghana and the country.
Wow. Well, your ideas are fascinating. Unfortunately, we can't talk about all those amazing ideas. But also, you know, you have had a wonderful career. I think, at least that's from what I've researched, I know. You know, you started off at Databank right after university.
Yes.
And how long did you work there?
Originally, I worked there for 2 years. I got in there in 98. By 2000, so 99, I married. And by 2000, honestly speaking, KSM, I couldn't pay my bills. I was living far away in Tema. The transportation even, look, I tell the young men today that when I was living in Tema and coming to Databank at SNIT Tower Block, I was joining the SNIT bus at 4:30 a.m. because Community 2 was where the bus starts. Before it will start moving to 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, before we hit the road to come to Accra. Just because I couldn't, you know, just make ends meet. And I wouldn't do anything untoward to try and cut corners, take bribes, fraud. I keep preaching it to them that I was waking up at 4 a.m. to catch a 4:30 bus to get to work. Anyway, so I just started looking for alternatives. And unfortunately, to the stock market, the whole capital market had slowed down. There wasn't too much work to be done. After the initial flurry, there was not too much work to be done. So I could go to work a whole day and not do too much. I was beginning to feel a bit guilty taking a salary
And
for
not
doing
working.
nothing. Yeah, I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. So I looked out for options. Stanchart came along, and
So that's how you move from Data
that's
Bank.
how I moved from Databank.
But wait a minute too. You know, people say, actually,
No way. That-
You
you see,
didn't have that?
Once you start telling yourself that, even it affects your performance, you cannot deliver. And people are watching. You know, a lot of people in Ghana work only because people are watching, or they know people are watching. The moment somebody turns around and you think nobody is watching, they are just there doing whatever. It is a canker. And if everybody behaves like that, how will the country grow? The country cannot grow. You've got to be productive and earn a living. You are not giving you should earn the living, you know. So
Which is true, which is great,
yeah.
you know. And I'm glad you're saying it now, because for most people, we're quite crappy anyway.
It's a
You know,
wrong-
and they delight in the fact that they don't have to do much, but they'll get paid anyway.
a
You
wrong-
weren't very comfortable
No
with
way,
that.
not at all. I was not
Wow.
comfortable at all about it, and I needed to do something. So I sat down and had a conversation, with Ken and Kelly back in the day, and told them that this is what I thought, that I would like, to take up the new challenge at Stanchart. And they gave me my blessing. I mean, they gave me their blessings. And if they hadn't given me their blessings, maybe I would have thought twice. But they gave me
They
their
give you the
blessings.
blessing, go ahead.
And then I
Yeah.
moved on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got into
But for
Stanchart.
me, yeah, great. But for me, this is the story. So you moved on.
Yeah.
You went to Barclays.
Stanchart first.
Oh, you went to
Standard
Stanchart?
Chartered, yes,
And
Standard
then
Chartered.
Barclays?
I did 10 years at Standard Chartered almost, and then I did 2 years at Barclays.
Wow.
And then I did another 2 years at Commercial Bank.
GCB.
GCB Bank now.
Bank.
I mean, that was one of my greatest experiences, working in a local huge firm, that Ghana's biggest bank, with all the ambiguity and the issues and the politics and dealing with all sorts of different. It was fun, and I learned a lot. And I keep saying that probably God took me there for a reason, preparing me for my current role. But while there, here I was one fine morning, I got a call first from Kelly, then later on Ken invited me for dinner to have a conversation, and they were thinking of bringing me back to Databank. KSM, I was shocked to the marrow.
But that's the story. Oh.
I was shocked to the marrow. Me?
Yeah.
Coming for me? How?
How?
No,
After you've gone after 14 years, right?
Yes, 14 or almost 15 years. Yes, because 14 years, because I left in
But
2000.
you see, what I find interesting, that it must have been something that you did. It must have been some amazing track record. It must have been something they had seen
Up to
when you worked
now.
with them for that short time.
Up to now, I don't know what it is.
You don't know?
I've asked. They just smile about it. Because, I keep saying I didn't have an Achimota school education. Neither did I have an American education. And when I was at Databank, not everybody, but almost everybody either had an Achimota school education or had an American education.
returnee,
Yeah, kind of returnee, like you.
You're working with the returnees.
So I couldn't believe it, but I took it as a great honor.
Wow.
I mean, KSM, it was the greatest honor given to me to come back and lead Databank. I was amazed, but I took it as such an honor that I didn't even care about the remuneration. Because here I was at GCB Bank, Chief Operating Officer, on the right-hand side of the MD, controlling how many
That's
branches, controlling this fleet of cars, houses. All I have to do is sneeze and everybody's at my beck and call.
And you left it?
I left it.
Why?
The honor I told you was bigger than any amount of money it could give me.
Wow.
In addition to that, and I'm advising people, especially maybe civil servants, when you have free housing, you have free petrol, free generator, and that time Dumso 2 was on, and I was with a generator being fuel. They try to make life comfortable for you. If you are not careful, you get stuck in there. You blink and it's retirement, and you have nothing. It happens to a lot of civil servants, and they don't have a house yet. So I said, Kojo, move away. This is not reality. This is not what most Ghanaians are doing. Move into reality. Get your own house, pay your own mortgage, pay your own bills, and move away from all these pecs. I walked away from the pecs, but the honor was more than enough to just take care of. I was so proud of the job they had given to me.
That's interesting, like I said, if I was a writer or I was doing a movie or anything, this part is like so. There's a lot of intrigue in it, because you left, and then you became big, and you didn't even have to come back there.
No,
but that's,
I didn't have to. But it means that maybe they were following me or tracking me and watching what I was doing.
They must have.
They must have. And integrity is a big deal at Databank, and maybe they pick that up too. And some degree of humility is also in our values. So I always tell people that you never know. If I had done some deal, and KSM in my career, in commercial banking, you can imagine the opportunistic deals in quotes that would have come to my table, that would have made me a millionaire by now. But so what? It's more important to do the work.
Was it your upbringing? People can make reasons to justify why they should accept the deal and be very comfortable with the justification. Oh, now why? After all, I haven't robbed anybody. I haven't killed. This thing has come as an opportunity. Why don't I milk it? What was it about you that was resisting?
Okay, a bit of my background. My grandfather was Inimado. I don't know if you knew Inimado.
That's your grandfather.
At one point, he was the richest man in Ghana, without a doubt. Had loads of property, cash. I mean, he was a typical Ghanaian rich man. And we lived with him at some point. I'll come back to that. But we moved from Legon. We had to move from Legon and come and live with him. So I lived with him for a couple of years, before he died. And I saw money. But you know what? After he died, I think the case is still in court. I stand corrected. But the contest that came around all that, so I sat back and said, so why did he have to amass all this wealth only to bring a potential conflict among his descendants? What's the point? At that point, I realized all one needs to do is to be comfortable. It's not for me. Billions and billions only for you to die, go down 6 feet, for people to be fighting behind you. What really is the point? Just be comfortable. And I grew up on the Legon campus where
your father was a lecturer.
My dad was a lecturer. Okay. He was a former vice chancellor, a professor emeritus now of chemistry, and we were in very humble surroundings, and we didn't see anything wrong in our surroundings. Today, the lecturers are even in a better shape than back in the day. When you enter a lecturer's home in Legon in the 70s, I mean, it's just 3 chairs, 2 chairs, wooden, and then some dining table. Once in a while, you'll be lucky to even have a car. Some of the lecturers will be walking, and we didn't see anything wrong with that. And there was dignity in their job. So I think maybe at that time, I found out that there's more to a good name than riches. I mean, that common saying. But we lived it because we saw good names, decent professors, and some of them had their wives as our teachers in university primary school. So they will be teaching us and bringing us up in that kind of humble way. So maybe you are right. Without knowing, unconsciously it impacted me. Maybe.
So, but you did get lots of offers, eh?
Oh, you have no clue. You have no clue.
Someone is probably watching when I go home.
But now I think the message is out there. I don't get them coming anymore. I think the message is as for Kojo, when you go, he's not going to mind you. What are you going? You're wasting your time. I mean, to the extent that I know it may sound weird, but Christmas hampers, I don't take them home. There are certain things that I'll even return. And there's somebody in the background here who will tell you, I've actually returned handkerchiefs and pens before.
Really?
With all due respect. I was so furious for doing nothing. And then they brought it, and they will say it's a token. But that's how it starts. When you start and you take a token will now become 3 tokens. And then it's growing. And you are getting used to it. It's a very dangerous thing. It's a bad habit. So I try to avoid it and just live within my own.
How much, talking about this thing, giving gifts, all of those things, that in our modern current context, it can corrupt, But how much of this is in conflict with our traditional way of life where, and they bring tradition, like harmlessly, but in our context now, it's not that harmless.
I get that all the time. But if it is as a result of you giving somebody a contract, or you are giving somebody a transaction, or then I don't subscribe to it. But if we are friends and it's Christmas and you come and give me a gift and say, oh, Kojo, today is Christmas, get one fat cow, it's fine. But if I am, you are my vendor, like you provide me computers, a service, I will be very skeptical about it. You know, you don't need to thank me for that, because you are providing me a service and I'm paying you for the service.
So why are you
end of story.
That's thanking you so that you
so that I do what? If you don't do the job well, you are fired. It's that simple, you know. And a lot of the times people just think that I'm a bit crazy, but I rarely would take gifts home. Rarely. You maybe the only gift you will see is that if you give me a good whiskey, maybe it's a bit difficult to reject that one. But you see, we'll drink it as friends together and we'll share it, you know. But that's about it.
Yeah. Well, there must be something to it, because you know. When they gave you the position as a manager, what is CEO?
Group CEO. Group CEO.
They had 4 branches.
Yeah.
And as we speak now, through your leadership and hard work and a great team.
Yes, great team. I was going to tell you that. It's more great team than me, but great team.
You've moved it. It's now been moved from 14 to 19.
19 locations. Yeah,
wow.
we like to use the word locations because a few of them are in partnership with GT Bank, where we are really embedded within the GT Bank space. But it is a location where you can go and do full end-to-end service business. And then we have other independent branches too. My strength has been in retail. I mean, my commercial banking experience gave me a very strong retail experience, and I thought it was time for Ghanaians to understand investment banking. Our objective is to get a data bank product in every household. I'm not sure if we are in the Sintim Misa household yet, but it's still
coming soon.
But it's still an agenda. Yeah, but it was important because we are doing good things. We are helping Ghanaians achieve financial independence. We are helping Ghanaians with the new pensions law retire comfortably and not just rely on a SNIT, you know. So why should it just be in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Tema? Why is that? You're doing a great thing here. Let's send it out to the whole of Ghana. So we had a roadmap. We're actually ahead of our roadmap. We were expecting to be in 8 regions by 2020. We're already in the 8 regions. So the only 2 regions we don't have presence is Upper East and Upper West. But it is also coming soon to a region here. I think it's very, very important that Ghanaians get to know what investment banking is and what it is they can do, because all Ghanaians know is probably commercial banking, you know, just savings and current accounts, fixed deposit, treasurer bills, as they put it, you know, in the hinterland. But they need to
once you're here, of course, you can't leave here until we get into all of that. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to pick his brains on what he thinks of the banking system. How safe are we? How is Databank different from other banks? And a whole lot more. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
Okay, folks, we're back. I'm having fun. I don't know about you, but I'm having fun, man. And we are here with Kojo Addae-Mensah, somebody that I call simply dynamic, man. Kojo, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Oh, so good to have you. Before we took the commercial break, we're just going to get into banking. You know, there have been a lot of banking bad news, if I should say, collapses and things, and people are now worried about banking generally. Data Bank is an investment bank.
Yes.
In this era where there are bank collapses and with all the negativity, first of all, what's your view on the general trend?
Well, I think it's important that we clean up the banking sector. It is important. What this is doing, though, is it's bringing back the nervousness people, you know, used to have in the 80s and the 90s about banking. The confidence is waning, but I think it's a good thing to try and clean things up and get stronger, better banks. But the speed at which I think is being done, I don't think I like it. I think it could be quicker. And so depositors can, especially institutional depositors who had monies in some of these banks, can get their monies back, because there's a rippling effect in there, and other institutions are not able to pay, and this is not able to pay. And the longer it festers, the more the confidence wanes, and the more people are going to keep their monies under their pillows and under their beds, and people are going to buy hard currency dollars and keep it under, and it puts pressure again on the currency, and then it goes on and on and on. So though I accept and I agree that the central bank stepped in to try and protect depositors, I think maybe the investigations that are going on before they release cash in is taking a tad too long, and the quicker we resolve matters, the better, especially for I think the retail depositors are being paid. I mean, if you go in and you're a retail, there's not too much of an issue there, but at the institutional level, I don't think the institutions are getting their monies back yet. I think there's too much investigation going on.
Yeah,
it's important, but they should speed it.
They should speed it up. Yeah,
especially going into Christmas and the festivities.
Yeah. And having said that, Databank, by the way, is not a commercial bank.
No, we are not. Yeah. We don't have savings accounts, current accounts.
Yeah, it's an investment.
It's an investment bank.
So explain that to me, to our viewers.
Okay,
a little bit,
so
what Databank is and how secure.
So we don't. You cannot come in and write a check on your account. Say, I'm just trying to break it down as simply as possible. You can't come in and write a check on your account or go to an ATM and take money from our account. You get what I mean? So what we do rather is we will open up what I'll say is an investment account for you, where we will place money into different types of assets or investment asset classes, different types. What we will not do for you is tell you, like a bank can give you a fixed deposit and say, this is a fixed deposit, in 3 months this is how much you will get. When you come to me and depending on the product you want to buy, let's start using shares as an example. So GCB is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. It is listed at a certain price. You come and you tell me that you want 100 shares of GCB. I'll go and look. GCB's price is 2 cedis. So those 100 shares will cost you 200. Then you've invested it. Note that the price of GCB, depending on so many factors, can move in any direction. So tomorrow that 2 cedis could become 4 cedis. That means you have gained. Your 2 cedis that you bought has doubled. In the same vein, that 2 cedis can drop, and the investment you made has gone down. However, I'm using the shares only as an example. However, research shows that when you invest in shares over a 5-year period, you are unlikely, I didn't say you will not, but you are unlikely to lose out. But because most of us don't have enough money to buy huge number of shares on the market, we then at Databank, for example, will create a product. So EPAC is our equity product, where you will bring your 10 cedis, because most of us don't have enough money to go in alone and buy a huge share. You bring your 5, 20 cedis, 50 cedis here, and then we put it together. We will sit down, we understand how the market works, we research the companies, we know which ones are likely to do well, and then with the gathered money, we will go and buy the shares on your behalf. But we give each and every one of you units. So depending on how EPAC is moving, it can go up or down. You are either gaining or you are also losing. But you are all in a pool. And the beauty of a product like EPAC is you can come in and go out at any point in time. We call them mutual funds. We have 5 of them at Databank, but we call them mutual funds. So anytime you want your money, you can just come for it. But you have to note that it could be high or it could be low. That's what people don't tend to understand most. Most of the time, all Ghanaians do is they come in and they say, more 500, 3 months time, menya saying. That's not what the job of an investment bank is. The only product we can guarantee you a return on at an investment bank is a treasury bill. And that is, we are buying it on behalf of government. So we are not even doing the guaranteeing. It's the government that is guaranteeing. We are doing it on their behalf. Now we have various mutual funds. So we have M Fund, which is now a fixed income fund. We have B Fund, ARC Fund, Eddy funds, which I would say are kind of balanced funds. So depending on your risk appetite, you know, some people can't take the volatility you have in a product like EPAC. So they are more stable, cautious investors. There's M Fund, which is a fixed income fund. Same concept. I only have 5 CDs. I only have 10 CDs. I only have 20. We gather it all. What are fixed income products? It's like bonds. So we can go and buy bonds. We can even still buy, you know, Ghanaian treasury bills. You can buy government of Ghana bonds or corporate bonds. Those are fixed income products. They give you more stable return. But still, we do not promise you that in 3 months you get this or you get that. It moves depending on the different ones that you see, because you have bought so many different asset classes. You cannot say that by all means this is how much return we'll get. What we'll tell you is that in the last 3 years, this is what we've done, and this is what we are likely to do. You know, so those are the kinds of products at an investment bank like Databank we manage. Now, people think that when they hear Databank's assets under management is over 3 billion, they think that that 3 billion belongs to us. It doesn't. And honestly, KSM, some of the problems that are happening in the financial services sector, my own colleagues, I will chastise some of them. They tend to think that the depositors fund that has come, they can use it anyhow. You cannot use it anyhow. Absolutely no way. It is for the depositor. You will earn a management fee of 1% on that. That is yours. But that 3 billion is for KSM, is for Hannah, is for Gillian, is for Richard. They are the shareholders. So every year at Databank, we subject ourselves to an annual general meeting. It's even required by law. In July, at the conference center, all our investors come and they can ask me any question under the sun. Why did you invest in this? What's the return? What happened here? We answer the questions. We subject ourselves. And you haven't asked me, but let me say, these products that I talked about, EPAC, M Fund, B Fund, ARC Fund, Eddy Fund, they are all registered as companies. So every quarter, each of these products or companies, they have board of directors, separate independent ones. KSM, the questions I answer on behalf of you, the questions they ask on behalf of you, the depositor, you have no idea. Why did you invest it here? Why didn't you take it here? Why have you taken it? So as long as we follow the law and the policy, we shouldn't be having the crisis that we are having. Most of the time, it is because we do not follow procedure, policy, law, filing the returns, and because we know that the regulator is overstretched and is probably not able to come and investigate as well, then we break the law. But we shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, I mean, that's my view, and that's, I hope I've been able to explain the main difference between what we do as investment banking and what the commercial banks do, where your salary, so nobody's salary passes through data. Even we sitting there ourselves, our salaries go through commercial banks before we go and take it, and then we come and invest.
And there was this misconception that needs to be cleared. Because they say the data bank, they are now at in banks. So it's almost as if you are operating as a retail.
No,
you know
so as an investment bank, no matter what you do, you need a commercial bank to partner with. Because when you've come and given me my 10 CDs, if you come to Databank today, you see, at least at our head office, you see Zenith tellers there. I need a commercial bank to collect the money on my behalf. I need them to send the money into a safe on my behalf. I don't have the license to do that. The central bank has not licensed me to be able to do that. So I necessarily, or as Databank, we necessarily need to partner with a commercial bank. Now, what have we done? We've decided that to be able to reach every household in Ghana, we need to open ourselves up to as many partner banks as possible. So we are partnering with Zenith, UBA, Access, Barclays, Fidelity, and we hit the big one itself, GCB. That's when I think the whole misconception started, as if we were trying to now, you know, buy into some bank and capture the bank. No, but GCB is the most widespread bank, the bank with the most widespread branches. Why on earth shouldn't I partner them to be able to reach out to Ghanaians, to offer them these wonderful products that we have on offer? So it's a partnership. They need to go and deposit at a GCB branch. That's it.
No, I'm glad you clarified it, because you know how uninformed as people may be, they may not know. So they generally start thinking, making assumptions on.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I got calls from friends who I think
should know better.
And I'm like, really? Okay. And I maybe the misconception grew more when they started seeing our tents in front of some of these branches. But yes, we set up tents and we put our people there, so people get to know that, oh, we are now in partnership with Bank A or Bank B or Bank C. It's just partnership. There's nothing else.
Great. And because I know many of you do listen to this program, I'm thinking like them now. Hey, so how much can I put in? What can I start with?
Actually, and if you are a student, you can start with 0 cedis. That's you can start with 0. We will open a 0 account for you to just get the account open, and then whenever you are ready, you can bring something in. But if you read our brochures and the like, you see some minimums of 50 cedis, 20. But it's not a hard and fast rule. You can start with any amount. You can top up with any amount at any time. You can come for your money at any time. We just have recommended holding periods for you, just so that you get the full benefit of the investment that we are doing for you. But you must start. You see, I keep saying that investing, it should be habitual. It should be like, all these bad habits we pick. This is also a good habit to pick, because you should get to the point where after the month, if you haven't invested, you are not feeling correct. I have a favorite saying about tithing. Some people, when they don't tithe, they just feel like something is wrong. You should get to that point where if you don't invest, something is wrong. I don't see why you can't invest. And everybody thinks that, to come and invest at Databank, you need millions or thousands. You don't. 10 cedis, 5 cedis, 20 cedis, 50. Once you are doing it, you find yourself doing it all the time. And now we have all sorts of channels. The mobile money channels are there, Visa, online, whatever channel it is you are looking for. We have it available for you, mobile app. And then you can just sit in the comfort of your home. No excuse. Most of the people maybe listening to me will say, oh, but this is my small 500 and so may cry, and how much will I be able to then? But no. If you have 500 cedis and you can invest 5 cedis, trust me, if you have 5,000, then you can invest 500. But if at 500 you can't invest 5 cedis, when you get to 5,000, your needs will still be growing, and you would not have developed the habit. So the important thing is to start. And the youth, a lot of them say, I didn't have money, and I didn't have capital. I had all these great ideas, but nobody was supporting me. Well, the news to you is just sit back. And even if you are not in a job, somebody is giving you some stipend here and there. Just sit back and ask yourself, how much have you spent on airtime? How much have you spent on a beer? How much have you spent on socks? How much have you spent on that extra shirt that you don't really need? Or that sneaker that because of your friend went to buy it, you just sit back and pause. If you invest all those small monies while you are in school over a 4-year period, by the time you finish, you have capital. And the trick is to start small, scale up.
I was quite happy, because when we went to this seminar, there were thousands of students, and I could just tell from the questions that we're asking that there's a yearning to understand the whole investment culture, which is quite missing. So for many it was new. Oh, really? So I can put away as low as that and still consider it as something that can work for me in the future.
There's the hunger, there's the thirst, and we've decided to tell ourselves that we will do these seminars. It's expensive. Sometimes you don't see the benefit immediately, but if I catch you in first year and you are investing 20 cedis, I can bet that if you start a big business or you get a good job and you will naturally gravitate towards Databank because we invested in you 5 or 10 years ago. A lot of people see it as cost that will not have immediate benefit, but it's not about the immediate benefit.
Not about the immediate,
no, it's about educating the youth to because without that, the country will not develop.
Yeah.
It will not develop. America developed on the back of mutual funds like this. And we also talk about retirement. I mean, for those who, people don't think about retirement until they are 55.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You start thinking about retirement then the day you start earning anything. And most of the youth think, oh, it's some far away thing.
Exactly.
You know, today, look, you said you're 62. Do they know when you started? So technically speaking, if you are in formal employment, you are retired.
Yeah.
But look at how much energy you have. You know, you can live 30 years after retirement. You will need money to retire. Where are you going to get it from? You've got to support good firms that are trying to help Ghanaians like that. Not, you know, and I'm not saying we are the only one. We are not. Just do your background checks. Make sure that you are not being greedy. A lot of people just want a quick buck. They want a quick buck. And, oh, have you heard, once you take it, you get this.
Yeah.
And then, maybe in the short term you get it. But it doesn't work that way. There is no magic in trying to prepare for your retirement. It is a slow, painful process. If you go through that process, you'll be fine.
It works.
Yeah.
Put your hands together, man. Man, we haven't even talked about you and sports, man. You host a sports program?
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not anymore. But I used to be a columnist in Kotoko Express. I don't know if those who know Kotoko Express.
Yeah.
But back in Herbert's day, when I was part of the management, I mean, my column was one of the most widely read, Kojo's Thoughts. I used to write it twice a week, then I slowed down to once a week. But I did once a week for a long time. I think I just stopped writing in 2015. I wrote for over almost 15 years or 16 years as a columnist. And I used to tell myself that in the private newspaper space, after Kwamdan Yeboah, I think I was the longest serving columnist. Yeah, I don't know anybody who wrote longer than me. I don't know if Kwabna still writes. I doubt it because now newspaper is sort of dying and everything is gone digital. So yeah, I've been a staunch Kotoko guy for a very long time. It's sad to see how our local game is going now. It's very sad. I'm not as passionate as I used to be, but I'm now very passionate about Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I never walk alone. This season, I think we'll give City a run for their money. But yeah, I really watch Liverpool a lot. Every season since 2005, at least, I'll visit Anfield once to go and watch Liverpool play. I would also go with my son to Chelsea. He's Chelsea. I can live with Chelsea, but if you had gone to the other red, that would have been a disaster. But I can live with Chelsea, so I take him to Stamford Bridge. I've taken him twice to Stamford Bridge. Just go and watch Chelsea. And
unfortunately for me, when it comes to sports, football.
You're zero. Why they didn't buy a ball for you when you were young?
I played quarter to quarter. I don't know when that happened.
Because look, my mom had a hard time with me and football. Hard time. Because, you know, I didn't mention that earlier, but my dad had to go into exile in the 81 coup that Rollins, because my dad was the general secretary of the PMP at the time. So somebody would say he's the Masedu Ketia of the PMP at the time. So he had to run away. So my mom looked after us, 4 of us, just like a single mother. And she just couldn't have time to really put a hold on me. So my football thing, I'll go and play all day, come back hurt, and then hide the injury, try and fix it. It becomes septic. All sorts of. I think I've given my mom hell, but it's all good. And I will be traveling all over the country, you know, to every stadium that Kotoko is going. I mean, at that young age, going to Caladan, you know, sit in a bus and go to Caladan before my mom realizes I'm in Caladan watching football. I'm coming. I'm in Cape Coast today. I'm here tomorrow. It was. But I've been very passionate about the game. Today I still play on Saturday. I still play on Saturday mornings. It's not. It's just. It's not anything serious, but it's for exercise and you know, just being with friends. And we've been together That our Keep Fit group that plays soccer, we've been together for almost 20 years now.
What's the name of the group?
Union. The Union, yes.
All
It's
right,
called
all
the
right.
Union.
Just up for Union. In the last 2 years, how old are you? Married?
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, Vinia, I married Vinia. She was my university sweetheart, as they put it.
You go way back.
Oh, yeah. We went out for like 7 or 8 years before even we got married. We have one son, Elia. We really love him. But she's also an extremely busy woman.
Where does she work?
West African Network for Peace.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Bombande.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
she replaced Bombande.
Oh, she replaced. Okay.
Yeah. She replaced
Show us some love,
Bombande. But the flip side of it is that she's out every month somewhere. You know, I think she travels more than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, this year we were checking the other day. Every month of
She's
this
out.
year, she's stepped out some way somehow. But you know, the
Peacekeeping
boys
is a big.
peacekeeping is a big thing. But the boys, we don't complain. You know, when mom is away, then Charlie, it's playtime for us. You know, we're eating pizza and watching TV. Something that mom will not ascribe to. But yeah, we do have our fun. Yeah.
Show some love, man. Kojo Addae-Mensah. Oh, it was great hanging out with you, man. I haven't. Actually, I need like a 2-hour special.
Oh yeah, I'll make time.
Yeah.
And then we talk more. Then
The place I was going to go into.
1.9.
The place I was going to is just your leadership, because I've spoken to some of the people who work under you and said, Charlie, who can stand me? But I don't think we have time to.
I'll just call it situational.
Situational?
I read the situation and then I apply the appropriate
For each situation.
For each situation, I will. But I don't tolerate mediocrity.
Okay.
I don't tolerate mediocrity. I mean, I must tell you, I've had my head of HR write lines before, just 2 months ago. You know, when we're in primary school, you write lines. Yeah. I made her write lines. And she said, I will read over my work. I will read over my work. She did it, 100 lines. I mean, you can verify when we leave the studio. And I threaten people, you want to write lines? So before you bring something in front of me, you
have checked it
be careful.
and rechecked.
Yeah.
Show us some love, man. Kojo Addae-Mensah, the CEO of Data Bank. And thank you so much for the dedication. And believe me, it's gone a long way, man.
Thank you.
So,
it's been a pleasure.
Is there a number you can give out in case people have questions or anything?
0302-610-610.
Okay.
0302-610-610.
Okay. And the number is on your screen right now. Yeah. And the youth, I urge you to invest. Work for money now, but when you grow old like me, money should be working for you.
Exactly.
You know, so check out the numbers on the screen, call them, and let's get it going. Show them one more time, Kojo Addae-Mensah. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.